Sarah, and this is Budgetsew, where we create stylish, fashionable looks as inexpensively as possible. Today is December 10th, and the 10th day of Vlogmas. Vlogmas is a holiday event where YouTube creators such as myself post a video every day in December leading up to Christmas. Today, we're doing a sew-along to Simplicity 9749, View G. I bought Simplicity 9749 at Value Village thrift stores for $1.99. This pattern is a misses, men's, and teens outerwear accessories pattern. View A is an unlined vest with patch pockets. View B is a beret with an elasticized edge. The hat in View C has the top tied with a braid. The hat in View D is in 3 colors with a turn-up band. View E is a headband with a Velcro closure. The neck gaiter, View F, has turned and stitched edges. The mittens in View G have elasticized wrists and contrast tops. And scarf H is in 3 colors with a self fringe. The recommended fabrics are soft wool melton, fleece, and double-faced fleece. The fabric that I chose for the body of the mittens was a navy blue woven polyester that was 150 centimeters wide and just over 3 meters long. I bought this fabric at Value Village thrift stores for $4.99. You may recognize this blue fabric from a few of my videos. It's the same fabric as my Simplicity crafting jacket. Simplicity 4183 appeared in my Fabricland Online fabric haul video. The link to that video is right here at the top of the screen. I thought that I had used all this fabric and did not have a single remnant left, but it just reappeared in my fabric trunk. What a surprise it was to discover more fabric. When I sewed the crafting jacket, I thought that I didn't have enough fabric left for a belt, so I had to piece together it with 10 scraps of fabric that I had left over from grading the jacket down to a smaller size. This jacket also appeared in my McCall's pattern haul video. The link to that video is in the description box below. This fabric was also used in my sew-along video from last week, where I sewed the hat from Budgetsew 3055, View B. The link to that video is right here at the top of the screen. The next fabric that I chose was for the fingertips of the mittens and was a vibrant plaid with pink, red, orange, yellow, blue, and purple stripes. I bought this fabric at Value Village thrift stores for $7.99 for the piece. It's a beautiful woven polyester. The link to the video where I purchased this fabric is right here at the top of the screen. This piece of fabric was approximately 60 inches wide, but less than 2 yards long. The tag on the fabric indicated that it was 6 feet long, but there was a big piece cut out of the middle of the fabric, so this was definitely a remnant. Normally, I wouldn't pay that much for a remnant, but I did get 20% off my purchase because I donated a couple bags of clothing. I used this fabric to convert a sleeveless summer dress into a fall dress by lengthening the skirt and adding sleeves. The link to the video with that DIY is right here at the top of the screen. This fabric was also used for the hat from Budgetsew 3055, View B. I thought that it would be nice to have matching hat and mittens. Since I was using remnants, my first step was to sew them together so that I had large enough pieces of fabric to work with. This was fairly easy for the navy blue fabric, but the pattern matching on the plaid was quite tough. Then I laid out my pattern pieces as best as I could and then cut them out. Since I didn't have quite enough fabric, I had to pin down some pieces, cut them out, and then pin down the rest, and then cut those out. I cut out View Bee's hat from Butterick 3055 at the same time that I cut out my Simplicity mittens. I bought Butterick 3055 for $2.99 on another thrift haul from Value Village Thrift Store. This hat pattern was published in 1993, and the pattern envelope includes patterns and instructions for 9 different hats, and each hat is offered in 3 sizes: small, 22 inches or 56 centimeters, medium, 23 inches or 59 centimeters, and large, 24 inches or 61 centimeters. My favorite is Hat B with the plaid top and underbrim. This pattern reminds me of a denim hat with a pink flower that I had as a child. I wore it all summer long and even on our family trip to Disney in Florida. I made the mittens from Simplicity 9749 previously out of an old sweatshirt that had a huge orange stain on it. It looked like I'd been shot in the chest with a paintball, but I've never been paintballing. Instead of throwing the sweatshirt in the garbage, I gave it a new life as 2 slouchy hats and a pair of mittens. The link to the video where I show you how to sew hats and mitts from an old sweatshirt is in the description box of this video. My first step was with the right sides together. I pinned the mitten top to the upper edge of the mitten bottom. Then, with the right sides together, I pinned one mitten half to the other mitten half along the outer edge from the lower edge to the notch, matching the notches and having the raw edges even. The instructions have a very handy note at the top of this section. It says, "You have cut 4 mitten tops and 4 mitten bottoms. 2 tops and 2 bottoms will be referred to as mitten. The remaining sections will be used as facing." So really that means I pinned 1 mitten facing to 1 mitten along the outer edge. At the sewing machine, I sewed the mitten tops to the mitten bottoms. All the seams on the mittens were sewn at 3/8 of an inch as indicated in the instructions. I used a Schmetz universal needle sized 75 or 11 to sew this hat. I used the same needle size that I used for my last sewing project, Hat B from Butterick 3055. Then I stitched the outer edge of the mitten together from the lower edge to the notch. I think that the next time I make up this pattern, I'll sew the hat from View C, the one that's top is tied with the braid. I think that looks like a lot of fun. I might even pair it up with the vest from View A with the big patch pockets. And of course, I'll make the mittens to match for a truly coordinated outfit. I'll check out the after Christmas sales to see if I can get a good price on fleece.
Before I continue with the sew along, please like and share this video with your friends and family. I would love to help others sew and refashion on a budget and troubleshoot their favorite patterns.
I also love sharing the treasure that I find at thrift shops. If you'd like to see more from Budget Sew, please subscribe and make sure that the bell is on so you receive a notification when I release a new video. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Budgetsew. Now, back to the sew along. Then I pressed open the seam about 3 inches or 7.5 centimeters from the lower edge. Next, I cut a piece of elastic for each mitten to fit my wrist plus 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters. Then I stretched as I pinned the elastic along the solid line of the pattern. I pressed open the seam, joining the mitten top to bottom. This step isn't in the instructions, but I plan to top stitch each side of the seam. I think it will give the mittens a more finished and polished look. At the sewing machine, I top stitched both sides of the seam, joining the mitten top to the mitten bottom. I used navy blue serger thread that I bought at Fabricland for $1.99 to sew my mittens. The serger spool did not balance well on my sewing machine, so I wound the serger thread onto a bobbin to make it easier to sew. Serger thread is a bit thinner than the regular thread I would have used to sew these mittens, but all my seams will be double stitched and some of them will be top stitched, so I'm not worried about the strength of the seams. I used the navy blue thread to sew both the navy and the plaid fabric because this little detail made the mittens uniquely mine and contributed to a designer look. Then, with the right sides together, I pinned the mitten to the facing, starting at the notch, all the way to the other lower edge. At the sewing machine, I finished sewing the remaining raw edges of the mitten together. I started at the lower edge of the mitten and sewed to the notch on the other side. I had a bit of difficulty navigating the sewing machine needle around the thumb of the mitten because of the angle, but it all worked out. I reinforced the seam by stitching it again over the first row of stitching. Since I don't have a serger, I don't mind going around the seams a second time for strength. I do that a lot even when the pattern doesn't suggest it. When I sewed the second mitten, I started at the notch this time and sewed my way around to the lower edge. I had hoped that this would help me with sewing the thumb of this mitten. I had some difficulty with the thumb, but I think it worked out better this way. I have another mitten pattern that I would like to try out. McCall's 7805. I bought this pattern at the same time I bought Simplicity 9749. My next step was to pin under the hem allowance on the lower edge of the mittens. I folded over 1/4 inch and then folded it over again, completely enclosing the lower raw edge. At the sewing machine, I sewed the hems of the mittens. I used a straight stitch all the way around. I have just enough fabric left over for one more project, an infinity scarf to match these mittens and my butterick hat. So stay tuned to Budgetsew for the reveal of that project. I like that this is a 1-hour gifts pattern. These mittens were quick and easy to make. They look fantastic. I love this pattern. I hope to find another one of the 1-hour gifts patterns the next time I'm out thrifting. Then I trim the seams, clip the curves, including clipping to the stitching at the inner corner of the thumb. My final step was to turn the mittens the right way out and press them. Here are the finished mittens. To complete the look, I'm wearing Simplicity 4183. This is my crafting jacket by Patty Reed Designs, and I've paired it with my Butterick 3055 hat. The links to the videos for both Simplicity 4183 and Butterick 3055 are in the description box of this video. I bought the Reitman skinny jeans at Valley Village thrift stores and refashioned them into bell-bottom flared jeans. The link to the video where I show you how to refashion skinny jeans is right here at the top of the screen. The shoes are Comfort Plus by Predictions that I bought at Value Village, and the earrings were in a Ziploc bag full of jewelry that I bought for $5 at a church Christmas bazaar. I hope you enjoyed my sew along to Simplicity 9749. Please like and share this video with your friends and family. I love sharing my new, vintage, and out-of-print sewing patterns, and my tips, tricks, quick fixes, and even my mistakes when sewing along with you. I also love sharing my wonderful fabric finds that I thrifted from charity shops, as well as brand new fabric online and in-store. If you'd like to see more from Budgetsew, please subscribe and press the bell so you receive a notification when I release a new video. If you'd like to stay up to date with Budgetsew, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Budgetsew. Thanks for watching. See you next time.